What up, guys? Mad Viking back. Got another wrestling news vlog. Pretty lengthy. Some of this is old. A lot of it's new. But it's all, of course, it's got my own little spin and take to it. Let me see here. I'm just going to jump into this crap. Of course, if you don't know already, lots of firings on both companies, big companies. Emma, Summer Rae, Darren Young fired. Darren Young should have been fired a long time ago in my eyes. Summer Rae, I'm scratching my beard over. I don't know why. The WWE liked her enough to put her in a bunch of their movies, but she was hurt for a bit. She's been healthy. She's been sitting 6 months or so waiting to come back on TV. You know, I did like staring at her legs, but whatever. She's gone. But the big shocker when Emma was released, the internet damn near exploded. People were totally shocked over her being fired. I was a little bit too, even though in my last wrestling news vlog I told you there was firings coming, mass firings, because the WWE had hired so many chicks, and they were planning on bringing some up. I didn't know they were bringing all these chicks up that they did bring up, but they did. So that means some heads were going to roll. And two of the names I mentioned, even though I'm kind of miffed about it, did get the axe that I mentioned. But Emma was offered a position in Stardom, the Stardom promotion in Japan, the promotion that the WWE stole a couple of their new women from, like, what was it, Kira Sin. They offered her some good money, but of course she had to push it, and she demanded first class flying, first class living, living quarters, and $2,000 an appearance. And she's also asking for $2,000 an appearance here on the indie scene in America, and the indie guys in America are just scoffing at it. Because she's not a champion, she's never won anything, she might be popular. She might get that for the first year or so, but she's not going to keep that going on a regular basis. So if she wants to keep making some good money and can stay a name in the business, obviously she's going to have to sign somewhere. But that's her dilemma. Oh, but she's now, I forgot about that. She's wrestling under her real name, and if I have that right, it was Neil Dashwood or Neely? It's been so long when I wrote this down, I can't remember. So that's what she's wrestling under now, her real name. Alright, Sarah Logan, one of the recent calls up onto the SmackDown brand, is engaged to one half of the War Machine, Raymond Rowe. Of course, Raymond is a part of War Machine, and the WWE has been actively trying to get them to sign with them as well. I haven't heard anything about them coming to the WWE. If they, seeing just how the tag team division is in the WWE, I wouldn't come running over. They ain't bigger than Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and look what's happening to them. TNA guys that are gone. Rockstar Spud is gone. Instantly scooped up by NXT, which I find funny. Or it was NXT, or it was the English, that English division. I can't remember, but the WWE picked him up instantly. Oh, he was going to go, okay, I wrote it down, because he's going to go to 205. And of course, Hideo Itami is coming, which I'm pissed. Why are they putting him on 205? I've been saying for a while now, it's time to ish or get off the pot with him, because of his age. And really, Shinsuke Nakamura should be thanking his lucky stars, because his fame and popularity is really supposed to be Hideo's. And I'm a huge Shinsuke fan. I'm not saying it wouldn't have gone the same way for Shinsuke if Hideo never got injured a bunch of times. But, Hideo was supposed to be the bigger deal when he was signed. But now he's going to go to 205 up. And the rumors are he's not happy and is trying to get released. So stay tuned for that. That's just going to be another Neville, Austin Aries type deal. They're going to play ball for a little bit, and then he's going to be pissed. He didn't come to the WWE to be a cruiserweight. He was a world's heavyweight champion in Japan. Why is he going to want to be a cruiserweight? Jeff Jarrett enters WWE-sponsored rehab. And, of course, that sparked a Twitter war. Of course, Ruby Red, Matt Hardy's wife, was just overjoyed. And I got to get this right. Jeff Jarrett's daughter took a shot at Karen Angle, saying that Karen Angle drugs both of her men to all of her exes to drink, or all the men she dates to drink, which of course Karen Angle's daughter shot back, and they were in a Twitter fight. And really, after a few little tweets, I stopped reading, but you get my gist. And I don't like Karen Angle. I would probably drink too. The January 25th will be the Raw 25th anniversary show. Supposedly Undertaker will be showing up. See, now I can't remember that, and I can't read some of this stuff. Along with other stars like HBK, Kevin Nash, from the 90. Well, they're going to be. Those are the bigger names. They're supposed to be bringing back people from all the different eras. Nikki Bella, of course, was eliminated from Dancing with the Stars a couple weeks ago. I actually watched the show. Trust me, it was the only one I watched. I can say she was definitely the better dancer than some of the people who were left on the show. There was 2 couples on that show that had no business being left on that show. I just think because they were more popular with the fans. I can't even remember the kid from Malcolm in the Middle. If you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. There's a rumor that she's possibly going to become the Raw GM. No. Ugh. Rumors Gallows and Anderson want to be released. There's a bunch of people rumored to be trying to get their release. And they were supposed to be one of them, but it was right around the time just before they went on the European tour. Doesn't mean they still don't want to be. They're not happy with their placement in the company. I don't blame them. Once you start doing those stupid gimmick matches like they did a few weeks ago against, who was it, Rhino and Heath Slater, you're done. The WWE has no plans for you. They brought you in to get you away from the Bullet Club. That was the only reason. They hate the Bullet Club, plain and simple. And they got them, I'm sure they lured them away with good money. I hope they didn't sign long-term contracts. Rusev was practically begging to be released again around that same time. And Lana was saying, if he goes, I go. And he was over the moon pissed that Cena took his spot in the Survivor Series card. And technically, I feel the same way too. The WWE bitches and moans that they don't make new stars, right? But they don't let new stars ever be made. Did John Cena need to come back from filming Bumblebee and whatever stupid cartoon he's in and whatever else to be in that match? No. He wasn't even of any importance whatsoever in the Survivor Series match. It was a waste of time that he was even there. Rusev and maybe a few other people should have been on that card. It certainly shouldn't have been Shane McMahon, and I can guarantee you it shouldn't have been John Cena. Wait. Rusev is on Raw. That's right. Never mind. But yeah, Shane McMahon shouldn't have been on that card either. Hardys are still at it to trademark the Broken Hardy gimmick. If TNA or Impact is still trying to push any buttons and claim it's theirs, they have less than 30 days to fight Matt Hardy in court. And if they don't have sufficient evidence to claim it's their copyright, it's going to be awarded to Matt Hardy. And I say good. Maybe that's the reason why he's getting jobbed out right now, because it pisses me off that Matt Hardy's just this jobber now all of a sudden. I mean, if Matt was hurt and Jeff was left out there, they wouldn't be jobbing Jeff Hardy out. So I'm thinking maybe that's leading, because I just watched a few after Raw videos where he's like, I'm being pushed to my limits, and so-and-so Elias Sampson ain't going to like me when I'm pushed to my limits. Things might get broken or whatever he said. He's hinting at it, so maybe that's what the purpose of all this is. Yeah, this is old, but this can still be mentioned. What was it? Just as it was announced, Paige was coming back a few weeks ago, more nude action photos of Paige were released, and it was proven that they came from her phone. I've been saying for a while that she's been trying to get fired from the WWE. But I don't know why she would still be trying to get fired now. Her and Alberto Dorito are supposedly broken up for good now. So why would she try to lose her gig in the WWE to go travel the world with her ex-boyfriend? But it was a little fishy that the week that she was supposed to debut, here comes more boner photos of her. And of course, it's supposed to be a big secret. She was at the show, and she was supposed to debut on, what was it, SmackDown? No, Raw. And she was taking all these backstage photos with all the girls and posting them on Instagram and Facebook and everything else, ruining the big secret that she was there, which pissed the WWE off, and she didn't debut that night. She debuted the next week. Ooh, big punishment. But I think it might have turned out better for her because they stuck her in that group, and I don't think they were originally going to stick her in that group with. Come on now. Well, I can only think of Ruby Riot's group. Oh, Mandy Rose. Oh, I'm gonna miss Mandy on the NXT scene, and oh God, who was the other girl? Not Liv Morgan, but whatever. You got me. Oh, the Adrian, what's her face? The MMA girl. But I'm gonna miss Mandy Rose. I'm gonna, yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss Mandy Rose. But congratulations, kudos. She's been traveling on the house show circuit with whatever brand for over a year now. Same thing with Asuka. It was, it was inevitable she was being called up, and I hadn't seen her on a house show in months. So maybe they were just preparing her. But like I said, oh yeah, Paige. I don't know. She's back now. We'll see how long that lasts. Okay. Of course, the world already knows about Omega versus Jericho. This whole thing started, what people think is because Jericho approached Triple H about using NXT members. He's promoting a cruise that I'm probably going to go on. I just don't want to drive all the way to Miami for. It's the Y2J cruise coming up. I don't remember. You can probably look it up on the internet. It's gonna be. He has bands to perform. Actually, a few bands are going to perform, and they're going to have now Ring of Honor stars. But he was supposedly in talks deeply with Triple H for months, and Triple H was jerking him around, and then finally Triple H said, "No, you can't have them." So really, Jericho, who is not under contract, but then some other people, it came out almost instantly that Jericho is still under contract to the WWE, and Vince gave him the green light to go and have this match, which I really don't believe, because it's only promoting the Bullet Club, and there's no way in hell Kenny Omega is going to lose to Jericho in Japan. So I wouldn't see Triple H, Vince giving that blessing. But now, supposedly, Jericho has beef again with Triple H because of that, shellacking of not cooperating with him. And that was supposed to be another reason why he went over and went behind the WWE's back and got this match together. Now, apparently, I wouldn't say Vince is upset because he did tweet Jericho about a week ago on his 40, I want to say 7, but maybe it was 43rd birthday. And I think really that was just done to show the world how old Jericho is. Because Vince can be very D-baggish, and I don't think he was actually wishing him a happy birthday. I think that's what he was really doing. Sin Cara was supposed to be injured. I've seen the video and I've seen the pics, but I've seen him since then on SmackDown. So unless they got this guy in some sort of a leg brace, because I just saw he was fighting Baron Corbin on SmackDown like a week or two ago, and he even did his flip into the ring. So and it looked like all those tattoos were Sin Cara's tattoos. That's why I was like, well, maybe they're using a body double because you can do that with a guy in a mask. But he broke his leg in 2 different spots on the European tour and was supposed to be out for months. So I don't know. Maybe you want to look into this. Maybe see if those really are his tattoos. Maybe it is a body double. Impact News. Ex-WWE star and writer Jimmy Jacobs recently fired for taking a picture with the Bullet Club during the Bullet Club invasion of Raw. And Sami Callihan, he was in Ring of Honor, but he's now ex-Lucha Underground. Both showed up at Bound for Glory, so they are now with Impact. Young Bucks debuted their new move, and it's called Cease and Desist, which is basically a combo of a crippler crossface and a sharpshooter. I actually did see them do it at the Lakeland show that I just went to. God, was that 2 weeks ago? Week and a half ago? It had to have been a week and a half ago. And I do apologize. I had 10 minutes left on my camera to record more of that match. I wanted to get I know they were going to do a big post-match speech, which they did. There's another guy who actually has it online, but the mic was so bad you can't really hear shit. But the Bucks basically talked about how that was their favorite place to wrestle because their last match there was, of course, Delete Suck It, the Hardys versus the Young Bucks. And Kenny Omega was talking about how it was his first tour of Florida. I don't know if that's true. With Ring of Honor, and he was going to do as many tours as possible in the future because he is New Japan, but he's also signed to Ring of Honor. But New Japan basically has Kenny Omega all the time. That's why he's usually never on Ring of Honor. But he's promised in the future to do more tours. And man, that guy, granted it was kind of a joke gimmick match. It was 3-on-3. But if you can see in my video on my page, that guy is so fast and crisp and smooth. And to see it in person, man, and he wasn't even out of breath. He was basically owning the match for what you could see. But he was in the majority of the match. And I don't even think he was sweating. That guy is amazing. And that's supposed to be another reason, supposedly, why Jericho is going to Japan to fight him, to lure him into the WWE. I think he still has 1 or 2 more years in his New Japan contract. And he already did say he's sticking with New Japan. Is he going to do that forever? No, I don't believe it. Because at some point, they're going to be throwing millions of dollars at his way. And he's not going to pass it up. But I don't know. That's all rumors. I'm sure we'll hear more about that match as time progresses. But there's so much stuff swirling about that. Owens and Sami Zayn were sent home after the European tour. And I know everybody knows that they were sent home recently again because they didn't cooperate in a New Day match or something. So there's supposed to be a lot of backstage heat on them. Vince's love for Owens is supposedly no more. I didn't read the thing that I saw yesterday, but that's all you need to know, I guess, is Vince has heat on Owens again. Just after, a month or two ago, how he praised him as one of his best wrestlers in the company. I already said Rockstar Spud was gone from TNA. James Storm is gone too. Someone's going to gobble this guy up. I don't know why they didn't sign him back in 15 in TNA. He was really the test rabbit for all the exodus of TNA that came over after him. But he's a built-in New Age Stone Cold. I don't know. I can't see why. If they sign Bobby Roode, who's kind of old, why wouldn't they sign James Storm? And I've always been a James Storm fan, so hopefully he gets picked up by NXT or Ring of Honor, or it just comes to the straight main roster. Oh, and so are all the old refs from Impact. They're gone. Because if you remember when I told you my last wrestling vlog, TNA is no longer going to film in the States. They're going to Canada. And they've already shown that on some of the recent episodes. They're in Canada on a film lot. And, of course, like I said then, I was like, they must be bringing in a lot of Canadian wrestlers because I don't see them flying these guys there for every taping. Well, all the refs are American, including Earl, Dale Hebner. They're gone, including the son, the referee Stifler. All of them are gone. Now they're replaced with local yahoos from Canada. Alberto Del Rio is back from his suspension. That was so dumb anyway. They suspended him, and nothing ever came of that case with Paige in the airport. I think some stuff could have came up because of the stuff that was coming out of his mouth, but they didn't search their bags to find any stuff that he claimed was in their bags. So I think they just might have bit the bullet on that one. But he is back and he's on TV, and of course he instantly went back into another rant talking about WWE and how the old people, the old echelon of brass in TNA, meaning the Jarretts, were holding him back in his last run. Jarrett brought him in. Lucha, remember in my last vlog, I said Lucha Underground was questionable of signing for a 4th season. Well, somehow they got the money, and like I said in the last one, yeah, the production the value might be down a little bit, but someone is funding for season 4. No other details on contracts. And a lot of them are supposed to be coming up in the next 3 months. So we'll have to see about that. Yeah, and here's the thing. My notes are so scattered. It says Hideo Itami wants to go back to Japan. Yeah, I already said that. D. Bryan thinks he can convince the WWE to clear him in 2018. I don't know. They might do it. The biggest thing they've been setting up for the last few years, of course, is The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. But, man, I know the money is probably... Well, I can't even say that. Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks, all these people... What was I just reading the other day? Ricochet. Ricochet won't sign with the company because he's going to make more money on the indie scene and touring the world than he would with the WWE. So why would he take himself on that grueling schedule to make less money? You know, and he makes his merch sales are his. He doesn't have to split 60-70% of it with the WWE. That's why they can't get a lot of these guys. But I would just rather see Daniel Bryan go to Ring of Honor. And then, I mean, he's been tempting it, and he's talking about all these dream matches in Mexico that he wants to have with people. I know his wife thinks she's going to just have a open door policy with them in 2018. So does Nikki Bella. But, we'll see about that. But Deep Ride, don't go back. Granted, everybody would want to see the Miz match. I would too. But I just think after a while they're going to go back to... I never believed in a million years the WWE actually supported Daniel Bryan. Yes, they gave him the belt. They gave CM Punk the belt in the beginning too. And they beat the crap out of him, just like they beat the crap out of Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. Yes, the fans demanded those guys all become champions, but the WWE did not support them. And Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler in their last title runs were getting the piss kicked out of them. Even CM Punk, they drove him into the ground. So I don't want to see Daniel Bryan back in the WWE. Oh, but he does say his tests are even better than they were a few months ago, and he was cleared to wrestle back then. I already said Paige and Del Rio are broken up. Supposedly. We'll see. The Revival is expected to be back mid-December next month. Drew McIntyre tore his bicep at the very end of his match at the NXT pay-per-view. And he's, of course, no longer NXT champion, but he's expected to be 6 to 8 months out. And his injury, that's if his injury isn't as serious as they think it is. If it's as serious as they think it is, he could be gone a year. And they said if he's gone that full year, that is going to derail him so much, because there was talk how he was dropping the belt at that pay-per-view, but he was going to debut on the main roster, which is kind of shocking because that's going to be the quickest debut on the main roster. So, I guess prayers go out to him. I hope, because he's supposed to have torn 2 muscles or something, a pec and a bicep. Lucha Underground talent, they're hiring lawyers to get out their contracts. Yeah, they're supposed to have horrible contract deals there. Marty Scurll becomes the New Japan Junior Heavyweight Champion. I already said that. Oh, yeah. I forgot that part, because another rumor with the Omega Jericho matches. Supposedly he's going over there to lure Kenny Omega back in time for the Royal Rumble. Like I said, people must not know contracts, because Kenny Omega is signed for not quite a while, but he's not getting out of his contract anytime soon. Jonathan Coachman is leaving ESPN. Does that mean he's coming back to the WWE? Like, we need another announcer, another freaking backstage interviewer. They probably would bring him back too. I don't doubt it. What's up with Kane? Why is he so dominant? What's going on? Well, in case you don't know, it's been said forever that Kane was supposed to be retiring. He was supposed to be retired a year ago, along with Mark Henry. Then Mark Henry and Kane were supposed to get one last big push. Mark Henry's started on a Raw probably 8 months ago, and he lost the match, and we never seen him again. But this is supposed to be legit Kane's last full-time run in the WWE. I don't know how many more weeks or months it is, but he will be retiring after that. And he's still pursuing politics. Neville is supposedly possibly coming back by the end of November. When I wrote this down, when I read about it, I've never seen anything else mentioned about it again, so I don't know how legit it is. For a guy who was supposed to be so peeved, they must have really eased his pain. Because, like I said, he was already offered a spot in the Bullet Club. And he was talking to Cody Rhodes, how Cody Rhodes is making more money now than he was making with the WWE. With less travel and less gigs. Jack Swagger signs with Bellator MMA in the heavyweight division. No news on his contract, who's going to be paid. All I know is he's been touring the indie scene, and I don't know what he did with his gear. He basically just shows up looking like a slob, like basketball shorts. I think I said that in the last video about Barrett Wade. I'm like, what do these guys do with their gear when they leave? Just trash it? Burn it? I mean, so he's going to have a fight here pretty soon in Bellator. He did have an amateur wrestling degree background, but I don't know, man. More TNA releases. Swoggle, not a big shock. I couldn't even believe they brought him in. Allison Edwards, that's Eddie Edwards' wife. Eddie Edwards is gone. He's been gone for a while, but she was cute. Veterans of War. Poor, what's his face? What is that guy's name? The big tall redhead guy. They bring him back, they fire him, and bring him back, they fire him. Shira Malabali, or whatever his name was. This guy, he's gone. I know there's more. Everybody knows about James Ellsworth. He's gone. But I think he's going to be just fine, to tell you the truth. I didn't know this. He owns his own wrestling promotion in whatever state he's from. God, there was a whole thing on this guy, so no one should feel sorry for him. I do have a feeling he'll show up again, but I find it's kind of stupid why they let him go. His storyline with Carmella never even came to a conclusion. He should have either cost her the Women's in the Bank match or helped her win the title. If he cost her the match, it's because he obviously got sick of her shit with her treating him like a dog and whatnot. Or he helped her win the title, and she kicked up the horrible treatment, and he was the reason eventually down the road that she lost it. That would have been the way I booked it. And then she could have gotten his revenge on him for the next show or the next couple of weeks, and then you let him go. Oh my God. But for whatever reason, they let him go. But you guys got to get this. This was Vince McMahon's dream here, what they were going to do with him. Vince was going to have him, because he won the Women's Money in the Bank match, technically, and gave the briefcase to Carmella. Well, they were going to make it to where Ellsworth was transitioning into a woman. They were going to make him pretend he was a transvestite, transitioning into a woman. And he was going to start wrestling in the women's division, and he was eventually going to win the women's title at WrestleMania, or some crap like that. Do you know the firestorm and the heat that would have come down on them? And of course, Vince thought it was a great idea. Thank God that's not going to happen. 53-year-old Tim Storm defeats Magnus, a.k.a. Nick Aldis, for the NWA title. I really thought, I watched the match. The guy is not 5-star. He's 53 years old, but he still put on a damn good match against Magnus, of all people. And instantly, now, Tommy Dreamer is challenging for that title. If you don't watch YouTube, this NWA stuff is everywhere all over YouTube. So Billy Corgan is really promoting the hell out of that. Hogan is possibly returning, too, at the 25th anniversary show. Man, are my notes just scrambled. 37-year-old Michelle McCool recently tossed out a possible return rumor to the WWE. Well, with all these new chicks that have been signed, I don't see it happening. Supposedly, there's a women's Royal Rumble coming up here in the future. In a Royal Rumble, you need how many contenders? 30. And currently, there's 21 chicks on the roster. That's including Lana. So you would need some fill-ins, wouldn't you? And another rumored return for that match, anyway, was going to be Kelly Kelly. Big Josh Brindle, released from NXT. He is the last, I think, survivor of the winners of the last Tough Enough. So there are no more winners of Tough Enough in NXT of the last group. Yeah, he was the Yeti guy. Kaz injured his neck, taking an indie taker by the Young Bucks at the recent tour. Same show, Christopher Daniels was injured by Cody Rhodes going through a flaming table. I have this picture on my Twitter page. I don't know if I have it under Mad Viking, but if I do, you can see it. It literally looks like, say if the guy had angel wings in his back, it looks like someone ripped them off his back. That's how bad it looks, but they're really third-degree burns. So, God bless Christopher Daniels. What? Alexander. Oh, yeah, these are injuries coming out of the NXT pay-per-view. What's his name? From Sanity, Alexander. Well, supposedly he busted his head open, needed stitches on a table in the War Games match. Cedric Alexander injured his neck, possibly broke it. And of course, we know about Drew McIntyre. Triple H was injured by Shinsuke Nakamura in the Survivor Series match. Supposedly broke his ankle. Was that it? No. And of course, we all know Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan debuted on SmackDown, which I already mentioned. There's the possible female Royal Rumble in the future. And I really think this was done on both brands because there was, in my last wrestling video vlog, I mentioned there was possibly going to become a women's tag team division or tag titles. Well, and I bitched because why would they do that? If there's going to be female tag team belts on both sides, there's only 6 girls on both sides. So 3 of them are going to have a title on them at all times. Well, they must have heard my plea, and they brought up 3 more women on each brand. I don't know if there's going to be women tag titles on both brands. It'd be a lot more interesting if there was one, I guess, and they could be intermingled between both shows. But we'll see. And possibly the Iconic Duo is going to be called up at some point, too. I think that'd be overkill, though. I really do. With the debut of women, anyway. And that there will definitely not be any women debuting anytime soon, that's for sure, in NXT. Batista has reached out and called Vince McMahon. He wants a full-time return, no BS. He wants to be on the road, like what Jericho does, house shows, pay-per-views, TV. He doesn't want to be a part-timer. He doesn't want to just be on TV like he was before. And he wants a full feud with Triple H in his retirement run from wrestling. Jeff Hardy recently said he may be back by Mania. His second surgery is ahead of schedule. I wouldn't push it, man. You know, you're not spring chicken. I'm sure he really doesn't want to miss out on his WrestleMania paycheck. So I'm sure that's the incentive. But he's trying to push forward because supposedly the rumored match between the Hardys and the Revival will be at WrestleMania 34. Yeah, that should be it for now. I almost went my full limit with news. I don't know. My newcomers to the channel, say welcome. I'm going to have a big unboxing video probably tomorrow. Maybe I'll film it tonight. And I mean big. And it's finally here. But thanks for watching. Leave a comment on anything you want to know, have any questions about. Like, subscribe, share. Follow me on Instagram. All that good stuff. Mad Viking out. Catch you later.